Today I'm going to be showing you how to set up and showing a little demo of how it works of using Veeam as a centralized backup server at home. So the first question would be, why would you want a centralized backup server? And the big reason is it makes it a lot easier to manage and make sure backups are all running. And Veeam, for the Community Edition, which is free, supports up to 10 devices, which means you can see 10 different devices in an easy to manage control panel instead of having to check every device. So that means you can check this every week or even set up email notifications, and it'll let you know if any of your computers stopped or haven't been reporting for a while, instead of having to check every single device to make sure it's there. Because one major problem with backups is they kind of can just silently stop running, and then you don't have that data when you need it. And backups are all about them being ready when you need it, with the data that was most recently changed. Now the question would be, why Veeam? Well, they have a free Community Edition which works well. It has clients for Windows and Linux and some hypervisors as well. And it just, in my experience, works well, and I think that's the most important thing of a backup program. Is you don't want it to have random issues, you don't want it to take too long every once in a while, you don't want it to just not restore every once in a while, because part of a backup program is you want it to be as reliable as you can, because if something goes wrong, you want to easily just be able to get your backup program and get everything you need out of it. So I'm going to be going over how to set it up, how to monitor it, and then how to restore data if something were to happen to one of your systems. Hardware-wise, this is my system I'm using. It's just kind of an older desktop with a lot of hard drives. I'm going to be running Windows Server 2019 on it. Veeam Backup and Restore will run on anything that's Windows 7 and newer, or the Windows Server version, so 08, 2012, 2016, and 2019. For storage, I'm going to be using a storage spaces volume with 5 2TB hard drives backing it. File system-wise, you can use REFS or NTFS. REFS supports a few more new features that lets cloning and stuff be faster. NTFS is kind of the old stable. CPU-wise, it has a Pentium and 12 gigs RAM, which for a home user is going to be fine. You don't need anything crazy. I'm using gigabit networking here, which is going to be fine. 10 gigabit would technically let some backups be faster, but you start hitting other limitations pretty quickly as well. And for a home user, this is plenty. Now, if you're in a business environment with large backups, maybe hundreds of terabytes, this is kind of wimpy. But for a home user where you probably have a laptop of maybe a terabyte max, and incremental backups make it so you only have to back up what you need, there you go. Now, for demonstration, will be running this on my home Windows environment, which is all running in a domain. You can do this without a domain, but running it in a domain just makes it easy because you have the same credentials on everything. One more thing to note is you have to have your firewall open on client systems for it to work, because the way it works is you install it on the server, and then you say, hey, here's a client computer, you should go attach to it, and it will have to have those ports open, or you have to turn off the firewall. There's a list of ports on Veeam's website that needs to be open. So now I'm in Windows Server here, installed on that system. It's a freshly updated version of Server 2019, but you can run any modern version of Windows. And I've downloaded the Veeam Backup and Replication Community Edition from their website. I just copied it on the disk. It's a disk image file, you mount it. Then once you mount it, you kind of get the setup. You just double click the setup file and run it, and it will start to run, and you just click install. And it will go. It takes a while on a system booting up a hard drive like this guy, and it also has to install a few other little programs as well for things like SQL. That takes a bit of time. Now the other thing to talk about now is storage. So I'm using storage spaces on here. There are a few other options that you can just have it go to a network share if you want. You have another NAS you want to use, or if you're using it as something like a virtual machine. You can also have something like a hardware RAID controller if you want that. But storage spaces works reasonably well, and since I don't have a hardware RAID controller, I'm going to just run it off of the storage spaces virtual RAID. Now I've set up a single mirrored volume with storage spaces. It hides your other disks, so that's why it's 1 and 6, and there's like a 0 and a lot of other ones missing. And I'm going to be using REFS for the additional features and faster speed when it comes to things like block cloning, which it can do. And Veeam's ready again, so I'm going to just tell it that I accept everything. I'm not going to give it a license, which means I get the Community Edition, and I want to install everything. So I get the catalog, I get the console, which lets you control it, the catalog, and the actual backup and replication. And we're just going to let it do everything right now. You can install the console on other systems and have a remote to this one, but I'm just going to manage it from this system for this quick install. And it's going to say, hey, I don't have everything I need installed. So you're going to click OK, and it'll be done in a minute or two. Now looking at this drive, we want to go format it, so we're going to go to Disk Management, and we're going to format Disk 6, and it's going to say it's offline. I've set this drive up earlier, and it's going to be called Veeam Backup Server. I used that for that, so I'm going to go just reformat it and show you how it's done. So I'm going to want to call it Veeam's Backup. I'm going to use REFS, and you want a 64K because that's what Veeam likes, and perform a quick format. And REFS does support some additional like block cloning and stuff, so it lets a lot of kind of, we're going to copy stuff quickly and make snapshots and deduplication a bit faster than NTFS. It does support some cool features in that regards. So now it's finished install. So now the required prerequisites have been installed, so we can just click next. And there's a lot of settings here about things, and we're just going to click install, and it's going to slowly go and install everything it needs. Now, one thing to note about Veeam is since it is built for businesses with large deployments and lots of complex configurations, there's a lot of options that you can configure, which can be really good for that sort of situation. But for a home user, pretty much leave it at the defaults and you'll be fine. There's a lot of things like, tape backups, rotating, lots of things. Don't need to touch them if you're just doing a simple install like this. And now I have it done installing Veeam. So I'm going to click finish. And I'm going to go back to the installer, but I don't need it. And I can just double click and run the program now that it's installed here. And I'm just going to say yes. And it's going to take a second. I'm going to get to the console. And the console gives you full control over everything. Actually, first it gives you which one do you want to connect to. This can be useful if you want to connect to a remote system and you have it so you just installed the console on like your desktop to monitor it, and the actual server's on another system, but on this install it's just everything's on the same. And it's going to take a second or two to get running. Here I have the console now, so it shows you like community edition and just kind of information. I can see on the bottom, I can see different tabs of things I can look at. I'm going to just like add home, and I'm going to add files so I can see those if I want. And homes like shows you all your jobs, last 24 hours. We're just going to kind of take a tour of it. Inventory shows you everything you have, so virtual infrastructure if you're backing up VMs, physical infrastructure or physical systems you have. File shows you're backing up and what's been happening recently. Other backup infrastructure, you have files when you start to get files, and then history of things that's happened. So it's just kind of done its internal. First thing I'm going to do is going to go to backup infrastructure and go to backup repositories. And it has a default one where it will go to backup. And this is actually because it found one, but we're going to remove this backup and we're going to make a new one. And now in order to add a backup repository, we click on backup repositories. Under backup infrastructure, we go to add repository. And depending on what you want, the object storing and deduplicating, you'd know if you have these. These are kind of more for large enterprise setups. Network attached storage would be something like another NAS or computer you want to use, and direct attached storage is a local hard drive. So I'm going to say I want Windows because it's the type of direct attached storage I have. And then I'm going to just say the name of it. So I'm going to call it storage spaces. We're going to say the server is the one we have here. We're going to say the path. We're going to just browse to where we want it to go. So it's going to show us the system. It's going to show us where you want it. And we're going to click on the drive. And then we're just going to select this E drive here, and we're just going to call it, make a folder called Veeam, and we're going to just put it there. And it's going to look and say how much, but it'll also say limit to how many forward tasks. And like I said before, there's a lot of advanced stuff that I don't have to touch here. For home use, we're going to say it's this server that wants to mount it. We're going to say it's the location we want, and we're going to click next. And then we're going to say, it has all of this that's going to be added. And then we're going to say OK. And it's going to take a second or two, and then it'll get it ready. And now that we've set up the backup repository, we're going to set up our first backup. So we're going to go to home, we're going to go backup job, we're going to say Windows computer. You can also do Linux computer, you can do a file share if you want to backup a share, and you can do virtual machines, which we'll look more into in a little bit. So we're going to do workstation. The difference between workstation and server is they back up similarly. It's just server kind of assumes it's on all the time, lets you do faster durations, where workstation is kind of a, maybe it turns off, maybe it's not on. We're going to call it, we're just going to call it desktops. And this policy we can apply to either one system or lots of them. So we're going to say individual computer. So we're going to call this one Dell Studio, Studio. And then we're going to use my credentials, which we're going to add. You can use different credentials on every system, or you can do what I like to do and have a domain so they're all the same. But having just individual credentials works fine. You just want to give it administrator credentials. I'm going to add another computer here, and we're going to call this gaming desktop, and we're going to give it the same credentials. And we're going to click OK. Now we're going to do backup mode. We're going to say entire computer, backup all of its volumes. You can also include USB drives, but I'm not going to in this case. We're going to back it up to a Veeam backup repository. Local storage lets you manage it doing backups to its own system, which is nice if you just want to back it up. But if you just want to back up, but I want it to all go to one central place. And this is going to be the system it's going to be backing up to. Its storage is the one we've already set up. I'm going to say let's keep it for 21 days. I want to keep it for 3 weeks just in case. Backup cache lets you have it so that if it's disconnected from the network, it'll kind of do its backup locally and then dump it when it connects again. But we aren't going to do that now. We're going to say run it every day at, how about 2 a.m. I'm not normally using it up. And maybe if it isn't ran, we're going to make sure it actually backs up. And then we'll be done. And now it's added the job. So now it'll immediately start running it. So it's going to do a scanning of systems. So we'll see it's performing scans on all the systems, and it'll make sure, find out what they are, what status they have. So if we go under home, if we go into inventory actually, we can see manually added these 2 systems, which are being scanned. And they're unknown right now because they haven't seen it and hasn't scanned it yet. Now if you ever sitting here going like, it's been a while and it still hasn't seen it, you probably don't have your firewall set up and it's blocking it from going and talking to the system and setting it up. It is also going to install a little program on it, and that little program will go and make sure it can't install. So like this guy is installed, so I haven't set it up its firewall right. It'll say it can't connect, so that means you just haven't set up your firewall right. I've now gone and set up the firewall correctly, so I can see manually added, and we're going to see gaming desktop, and we're going to just click rescan. And if we actually click rescan, we'll see it. Now in my other window, I can see it's should be connecting right now, and it's going to be making links with it, and there's going to be a little Veeam installer, and it's going to install the Veeam agent, which you can also get as a free little program, but this will just automate all those little agents, which makes it easier to use. So after doing a little bit of firewall wrangling, the ports that you need to open for TCP and UDP are 135, 137 through 139, and 445. Those are the ports. And now that you do that, it could successfully do rescans and run it on. If you want to check that it's actually working right, just open up Resource Monitor and you can see the TCP links, and it will show you if you see Veeam deployment service, it's running fine. It's discovered the systems you want to get it going. So we're going to say just start backup. Now we do have it set up to automatically backup at 2 a.m. every day, but we just want to run a first one manually to make sure everything's working right. So I've just hit start, and if we look under running tasks, we can see that it should be running right now. And we can see there it is. It's running right now. It's doing its progress, and it's slowly starting to chug along processing data. Now doing the first backup can take a while because it has to copy a lot of data and copy it from multiple systems and read all your drives and make sure it has all the snapshots. And what it'll do first is it'll make a shadow copy snapshot, and then it'll copy the contents of the snapshot, not your actual disk. So that makes sure it has already made it in place, and then it copies it, so then you can't change something midway through. That's just a better way most backup programs in Windows do use that method. I wanted to make a quick note on running multiple backups and system requirements with Veeam. So I have 3 backups running, one from my desktop, one from a laptop, and one from a test VM. And I can see here that I'm pulling in data at about 500 megs a second. It keeps bouncing around. And I'm using 30% of a dual-core Pentium Haswell chip. So I'm really not needing much CPU for a basic use case here. And I'm easily filling gigabit. Also, so I have 3 backups running right now on all of them. And they're pretty much not limited by the actual backup server. A lot of it is waiting for it to go. So I already ran the first backup. So the first backup on my desktop was like 800 and some gigs in 2 hours, so not that bad. And now I'm running the second one. And it's getting it through its big game storage drive that I have. And it's going reasonably quickly. It probably looks like it won't take too long. And also at the same time as running other things. So I've had a few backups running, and it's been relatively successful once I get it all set up and going. So I've been backing up a few systems. One is just kind of an older Core 2 Duo laptop with a hard drive in it. So it's this guy here. As we could see, after the initial backup, the actual amount of data being backed up was like 196 gigs is the amount of space used, and it has about 4.6 that it actually just had to back up, and quite a bit of it's compressed.
So it only took 10 minutes on an old laptop, so it's actually not even that bad. I had a Windows 10 VM, which has better hardware, and it took 3 minutes. Probably a newer, higher-end desktop or laptop could be even faster. Now I have my main desktop here. I've also been backing up, and it's been taking much longer, like 36 minutes. But that's because it's spending a long time on my storage drive here, and it has REFS, so it can't actually use snapshots. It has to just read the whole thing, and it's doing that like 400 some megs a second. So now the important question is restoring backups. So as you can easily see, it makes them, it works well, but it doesn't really matter how well you can make backups if you can't get your data back if something was to happen. So here is the restore function. So if we go under home, we can go under restore. And then, depending on which one we have set up, it'll give you different options. So if I click on desktops, I'm going to actually look at the laptops. I'm going to go to home, I'm going to click restore, and then agent. Clicking the other one will give you the Hyper-V system, which I just set up. So you have a few options here. You have the entire machine restore, so it's a virtual machine or cloud machine. So this can be useful if you have like a desktop that stopped working and you just want to fire up as a virtual machine to get something, but that's kind of annoying for a home environment if you don't have full virtual machine infrastructure. Volume restored, so that'll give you just the full block level volume. File level restore, this is going to be really useful if you delete something and have to look back at it. And the application level, so if you have an application from there. So probably the most useful here is the guest file restore. We'll look more at a full system restore today. So we're restoring a Windows laptop, and we're going to be looking under laptops, and it's this guy. Next. And we're going to use the most recent incremental backup it has. It says that you put reasons in, and then you click finish there, and this goes away. And in a little bit, you're going to get another window that says, hey, what files do you want? Here we can see the restore on file options. You see 2 drives. You got your C and your volume 2. Volume 2s, or the other ones are going to just be your recovery volumes. There's no files you care about. And then you can just see everything. So you can see like, oh, I have Riot Games folder from League of Legends. So if you lost the file there, but probably most useful is probably under like your users share, and then maybe a specific user, so administrator. And then you can look in here, go whatever files you want. And I don't think there's really anything on here, but maybe I want this desktop.ini file. And then you can just restore it, and you can say keep or overwrite if you want to keep the existing ones or overwrite it, or you could just say copy it too and give a local folder on this system. So if you want to just copy a whole folder to your restore directory and put it on a USB stick and copy it back as well, or you can have it go to the client. So now it's copying files. So this is great for if you delete a file or something. So let's look at the case of the whole hard drive failed and the system won't even boot up, or you have something like ransomware that took the whole system out. So if you lost your whole system, you want to restore an image of the system so it's all back. And what you could do to do that is you look under inventory, and then you can look under physical infrastructure manually added, and then you can see here's my laptop that, let's say, just completely died, and we're going to say agent, and we're going to say create recovery media. So you can either put something like a DVD drive in to copy it onto, or you could make an ISO image. So I'm going to make an ISO image here. I'm going to say where I want it to be put, so I'm just going to put it on that extra drive. I already made it earlier though. And I'm going to say I want to replace it. And what it's going to do is it's going to make a little Windows PE image that you can boot from the USB or a CD or something from. And on that image, it's going to have all the files you need for this system to go and talk to the network and pull the latest image you want from the network onto your system. So if you have a system that either is completely died, or you have ransomware or something, or you went like, oops, I just broke that install, you can go back to any image backup you've made before and copy all the files off of it. And you don't need anything to do with it. Or if your drive died, you can just put a new hard drive in or SSD in and just restore to that new drive. So let's go take a look how that works on an actual system now. Here I have a laptop that I broke the install on. I just intentionally deleted it. It won't boot anymore. And I'm going to try doing a restore. So I plugged in the USB stick with the restore DVD that I made earlier, put it on USB. So now I'm going to boot from it. It's a virtual CD-ROM drive. And it's going to say, press any key to boot from CD or DVD. So I do that, and I get the Windows looking boot screen, but it's actually, I can look at activity, it's booting from my USB drive. And it's going to be booting into the Windows PE, which is kind of the little recovery environment. And then once I get booted into Windows PE, I can go in there and tell it which one it has. So this Windows PE already has all the little Veeam programs installed that do restoration. So I get booted to this Veeam Recovery Media one, and I'm gonna just go select Bare Metal Recovery. So I could select to do a local storage if I told it to back up to an external hard drive, or network storage, which I did, which is for your networked one. So it should be connected to a network if I actually push my cable in all the way. So I'm gonna click no, and I'm gonna just hit next again and see if it detects it. There it goes. And now I'm gonna do Veeam Backup Repository. Next. And I'm gonna just punch it its username and authentication. This is the same as the login credentials of the system. Make sure to include domain if you have it. And it's gonna say connecting, and it's gonna say take a second. You're gonna select which computer you want to restore from. So it's gonna be this laptop here. And it's gonna select the exact system. Gonna hit next, and then you select the backup, so I'm gonna do the most recent one. And then next, I'm gonna say the whole computer. You can do specific volumes or exactly what you want, or if you want to do advanced partitions. It'll attempt to try to automatically find out where stuff goes. If you haven't touched a disk layer, it should just work perfectly, you don't have to think about it. And there it goes. It's gonna be copying files from the system. And if I look back over at my remote desktop session on the actual Veeam system, I can look under performance, and I can see it starting to copy files from there, and it's going to just sit and copy files to the system, and then I don't know if it gives you a time frame, but probably about an hour it'll be ready to go again. So now the system's finished restoring. I can hit finish now, and I can just reboot it. I'm going to unplug my USB drive, and it should just boot into the system like it was a day ago at 4 o'clock when the last backup was made. We'll see, just press any key to make it go a little bit faster, and, well, that's a good sign. It's found the OS. And, well, if the sun isn't blaring, it looks like the hard drive activity light is on, so that means it is at least looking for files right now. The dots are moving.
Now it's working correctly. It's a Windows 10 system with everything as intended.
Just as before I was doing it. It's just as slow as always. It's a hard drive at 4 gigs RAM and a Core 2 Duo, but shows backup restores work fine, which is, I'd say, the most important part of any backup solution. So, thanks for watching this video about using Veeam as a home backup solution. Let me know if you have any questions about how this works, and stay tuned for more videos.